Minister, under the European Convention on Human Rights, suspects are entitled to a fair trial within a reasonable time frame. It was reported in the media many months ago that the Council of Europe was monitoring the government on how delays were occurring to prosecute criminal cases and how our Irish criminal courts are breaching the rights of individuals in such circumstances. Such breaches could require a court remedy, in other words, compensation, and the result of these delays is that defendants in criminal trials could be entitled to receive compensation if cases are extensively delayed before being heard in court. The bill being proposed is an answer to this situation, and it is to enact to provide for the rights of a party to proceedings not concluded within a reasonable time frame to seek compensation for extended and unfair delays. It is noteworthy, Minister, that those defendants subject to such delays are entitled to seek state compensation. However, it does not appear that the Act provides for any compensation for the victims of crime or their families, and particularly where serious criminal events have failed to be prosecuted within a court-determined reasonable time frame. Such court delays, it appears, are largely as a result of the lack of resources in our penal courts system. We appear to have nationally a significantly lower number per capita of judges than our European peer countries, from whom the principles of this legislation are being derived. The issues of resources appear to cascade across our criminal justice and legal system, and recent reports have highlighted professional fees as being frozen at 2011 rates. Indeed, barristers in recent months have gathered to protest over the government's failure to reverse cuts to district court criminal legal aid fees imposed during the financial crisis. I'd have to say, Minister, they stand in stark contrast to the legal fees that are available out in the private compensation area of the courts. Legal reps said barristers practising in criminal cases in the district court are paid €25.20 for a remand hearing, €50.40 for a plea in mitigation at a sentencing hearing, and €67.50 for a full trial hearing. Bar Council Chair Sarah Phelan, the Senior Counsel, is on record stating that the Department's failure to restore previous pay scales is a direct threat to the maintenance of the highest standards in the administration of criminal justice in this country. How many times will the issues of inadequate resourcing across so many sectors of our society be discussed in this House and not addressed, Minister? The delay to prosecution also has ramifications for our policing. Why should investigating Gardaí and inspectors exhaust themselves trying to gather evidence that can secure a prosecution and conviction if their efforts are to be thwarted by our inability to properly resource and provide adequate resources to run our criminal court system? Parts of the bill speak to the appointment of a delayed proceedings compensation assessor. This assessor will also have to be a judge capable of making findings that compensatory delays have occurred. This begs the question again, Minister, how can we find judges to occupy such a position if they are not available to our courts? I understand, Minister, that this bill is required by EU statute, but I personally feel there is something inherently wrong with providing for compensation for undue delays to plaintiffs in criminal cases which occur largely as a result of our inability to properly resource our criminal justice system. It is a pity that within this bill there does not appear to be any overarching proposal that will change this situation for families. I believe this bill requires additional work in further legislative supports to underpin the work of our criminal justice ecosystem. And for that reason, Minister, I will monitor its progress through the House at the moment.